Hello aspirants, welcome to Daily Chronicles by Abhiram IAS Academy. So, ఈ Daily Chronicles లో the most important topics from the Hindu, Indian Express, PIB select చేసుకొని exam point of view లో that is UPSC, APPSC and TGPSC కి help అయ్యేలాగా చెప్పడం జరుగుతుంది. So, without any delay, let's get started. The first article is about the monsoon has covered the entire country a day later than the normal, announces the Indian Meteorological Department. So Indian Meteorological Department ఏం చెప్తుంది అంటే 1 day కంటే అంటే నిన్న రావాల్సింది ఈ రోజు వచ్చింది వర్షం అని చెప్పేసి చెప్పడం జరుగుతుంది అన్నట్టు. సో ద ఇండియన్ మెట్రలాజికల్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ అనౌన్స్ దట్ Southwest monsoon covered the entire country on 9th of July 2026, but which has to be supposed to come on 8th of July 2026. ఆల్రెడీ కొన్ని స్టేట్స్ లో ఈవెన్ క్లౌడ్ బర్స్ట్ చూసాము, కొన్ని స్టేట్స్ లో హెవీ రెయిన్ఫాల్ జరగడం జరుగుతుంది. అండ్ ఆఫ్టర్ స్లో స్టార్ట్ అండ్ ప్రొలాంగ్ స్టాగ్నేషన్ డ్యూరింగ్ ది జూన్ లో చాలా వర్షాలు పడలేదు. అండ్ ఇన్ ద జూలై మంత్ వీఆర్ ఏబుల్ టు సీ ద హెవీ రెయిన్స్. The monsoon advanced rapidly over the remaining parts of your Rajasthan, Haryana, Punjab and also towards your North Arabian Sea, significantly improving the rainfall and also decreasing the country's rainfall deficit. This is the news. ఇక్కడ అయితే ఎగ్జామ్ కి ఏది ఇంపార్టెంట్ అంటే సౌత్ వెస్ట్ మాన్సూన్ గురించి, అంటే సౌత్ వెస్ట్ మాన్సూన్ మెకానిజం అనేది చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. సో లెట్స్ ఫోకస్ ఆన్ దట్. ఇది మనకి మెయిన్స్ కి చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్ అండ్ ఫర్ ప్రిలిమినరీ ఆల్సో ఇట్ ఇస్ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. సో ఐ ఆమ్ ఫోకసింగ్ ఆన్ మెకానిజం ఆఫ్ సౌత్ వెస్ట్ మాన్సూన్. స్టెప్ బై స్టెప్ నేర్చుకుందాము. ఫస్ట్ ఏం జరుగుతుంది, ఇన్ మే దట్ ఈస్ ఇన్ ద మంత్ ఆఫ్ దట్ ఈస్ ఇన్ ద సమ్మర్ మంత్స్ యూర్ ఏబుల్ టు సీ హెవీ టెంపరేచర్స్. ఈ టెంపరేచర్స్ వల్ల ఏమవుతుంది, సో డ్యూరింగ్ మే ద సన్ ఇస్ ఆల్మోస్ట్ ఓవర్ హెడ్ ఆఫ్ ది ట్రాపిక్ ఆఫ్ క్యాన్సర్, సో దట్ యూ కెన్ సీ temperature has been raised to 45 degrees centigrade, causing low pressure. Low pressure అంటే ఏమవుతుంది, winds అన్ని accumulation అవుతాయి అన్నట్టు. Winds are being accumulated towards this area. Now what is happening, there is something called intertropical convergence zone. That is winds from here and winds from here, that is from your northern side and from the southern sides mix up at the middle point. That is your intertropical convergence zone. Intertropical, that is you call your ITCZ, intertropical convergence zone. Now what does they do, they are moving up, they are coming this side, they ante Mediterranean Sea దగ్గర నుంచి they are coming towards your Indian Ocean side. So that what is happening, this ITCZ is moving upwards towards your northern India side. Now this brings your monsoon trough. When this is being moved towards the equator end, this is gaining you the monsoon trough, like where ఒక లో ప్రెషర్ ఉంది కదా, ఇట్ ఈస్ యాక్టింగ్ లైక్ ఏ వాక్యూమ్. ఈ వాక్యూమ్ ఏం చేస్తుంది, ఉన్న ప్రెషర్ ని, ఉన్న గ్యాసెస్ ని, ఎవ్రీథింగ్ ద మాయిశ్చర్ వాట్ ఎవర్ ఇట్ ఇస్ దేర్, దాన్ని లాక్కోవడం జరుగుతుంది అన్నట్టు. వెన్ దిస్ ఇస్ బీన్ దేర్, వాట్ ఈస్ హ్యాపెనింగ్, ఇట్ ఈస్ క్రియేటింగ్ ది క్లౌడ్స్. సో దీస్ ఆర్ ఫార్మింగ్ ది, అంటే విన్స్ వల్ల ట్రేడ్ విన్స్ వచ్చేసి ఇక్కడ మిక్స్ అవ్వడం జరుగుతుంది. హియర్ వాట్ ఈస్ హ్యాపెనింగ్, సో ద మాయిశ్చర్ లాడెన్ విన్స్ వాట్ ఎవర్ ఆర్ దేర్, దే ఆర్ ఫార్మింగ్ ది క్లౌడ్స్ అండ్ లీడింగ్ టు ది ఫార్మేషన్ ఆఫ్ యువర్ రెయిన్. First, due to intense heavy temperatures, there a low pressure system is being created. This low pressure system is acting as a vacuum. ఈ వాక్యూమ్ ఏం చేస్తుంది, ఈ వాక్యూమ్ దాని చుట్టూ ఉన్న winds ని or the moisture ని లాక్కోవడం జరుగుతుంది. It is pushing or it is taking up. What is happening with respect to this? ఏవైతే winds ఉన్నాయో, those are moisture winds. The winds present there, they are going up, again they are forming the clouds and it is causing to the precipitation. First, intense heat, the next shift of ITCZ it's moving towards here equator side. The next, cross equatorial winds. ఇక్కడ మనకి ఏమవుతుంది అంటే winds from southern hemisphere cross the equator, because of the Coriolis force it is getting deflected. What is Coriolis force? The rotation of the earth around itself. When it is rotating around itself, some force or the air is created. That force, whatever it is there, it is a Coriolis force. Okay, if the earth is rotating around itself, that is your Coriolis force. Here around the earth, some force is created. That is your Coriolis force, and this is making to deflect the winds. Okay, ఎలా డిఫ్లెక్ట్ అవుతుంది? సో when your south east trade winds are there, it is crossing the equator, then they are becoming the southwest monsoon winds. South east, north east, south west. ఏవైతే సౌత్ ఈస్ట్ ట్రేడ్ విండ్స్ ఉన్నాయో, when these southeast trade winds are coming, due to your what we call Coriolis force, these winds are getting deflected. Now they are becoming your southwest monsoon trade winds. These winds are carried towards your Indian Ocean and they are deflecting into they're deflecting into two types. One ray is going towards the Arabian end and other is going to a Bay of Bengal. One path, like two branches have been formed. One branch is going towards your Arabian Sea and other branch is going to your Bay of Bengal branch. And these two branches meet up at your Delhi. These two branches meet up here, Delhi. Okay, then it is causing you the rainfall towards your orographic side, that is towards your mountain side. ఇక్కడ మౌంటైన్స్ ఉండడం వల్ల ఈ ఎయిర్ అనేది ఇటు సైడ్, ఈ ట్రేడ్ విండ్స్ అనేది మౌంటైన్ కి అవతల వైపు వెళ్ళలేకపోతున్నాయి అన్నట్టు. సో దేర్ యూ కెన్ నాట్ సీ మచ్ ప్లెంటీ ఆఫ్ రెయిన్. You cannot see much plenty of rain. This is the mechanism of southeast monsoons, which brings rainfall, which brings most of the rainfall to India. Let's see the mechanism again. First, intense temperature. ఈ temperature వల్ల low pressure generate అవుతుంది. ఈ low pressure, this is acting as a vacuum, which is absorbing all the trade winds to itself, all the winds which are moisture laden, and these winds are being like southwest trade winds ఉంటాయి. Due to the Coriolis force of the earth, these winds are deflected and they are becoming southeast monsoon trade winds. These southeast monsoon trade winds they are dividing into two branches. One is going towards your Arabian Sea and one is going towards your Bay of Bengal. Okay, these two branches are meeting up at one place, that is your Delhi place, and therefore at your orographic side you can see your southeast monsoon is coming. And mountain addu undadam valla atu side, the other side of the mountain, the trade winds are not able to reach. This is the thing. Next is Hindu article lo Juang community gurinchi iవ్వడం జరిగింది అన్నట్టు. Now why this is a news? This is important because it is one of the particularly vulnerable tribal community. This is one of the PVTG exam lo. In your preliminary question, that is in your UPSC, for prelims, this question may be asked. PVTGs are very important for your UPSC. And in news today, it has been given about Juang community. Now why it is in news? Because this community, edaithe community untundo, it has been come into the national spotlight after the ammonia gas leak at the seafood processing plant in Tiruvallur in Tamil Nadu in the month of June 2026. And here he is telling that, the article is telling that almost 14 young women, 14 women have been died. Okay, that is why it is in news. And Juang community is a particularly vulnerable tribal group. That is why it is very important. So let's talk about Juang community. So Juangs are one of the 75 particularly vulnerable tribal groups recognized by the government of India. They are, where is the location? They are basically the oldest tribal communities of Eastern India and are known for their distinct cultural identity. They are mostly dependent upon the forest. As you know, they are PVTGs. Now, who are considered as PVTGs ante, who are having pre-agriculture level of technology, ante vallaki asalu modern technology tools telikupovam evaraithe untaro vallani, and also they are having low literacy. They are very low at studying, and also they are very small and declining population, economic backwardness, and also heavy dependent on forest and natural ecosystems. This is the criteria for a tribal group to be considered as PVTGs. First is they are like pre-agriculture level of technology. They are economically backward. They do not know how to use the modern tools of agriculture, and they are very less in population, and when they are declining, and also they are having low literacy. And they're mostly dependent upon the natural ecosystems. They are considered as PVTs. Let's see more of Juang community. They primarily inhabited the hill ranges of Gionjar, Angul and Denkal districts. This is ee tribes ekkada untaro mostly ante Odisha lo. They are present in Odisha. And Odisha is having more number of PVTs. Odisha is having more number of PVTs. అయితే వీళ్ళ కమ్యూనిటీ గురించి తెలుసుకో అంటే to know more about the community, they are the particularly vulnerable tribes of Odisha. They are located in Kionjar, Palhara in Angul and of plains of Denkal in Odisha. And also the most important thing is, see, they wear leaves. ఇంతకు ముందు వాళ్ళ క్లాతింగ్ ఎలా ఉండే అంటే they used to wear the leaves. These are called pautus. Patus. They are called as patus. Okay, that was the dressing. And the most important, the other thing was, they used to have a youth community. Youth dormitory where youth used to meet here. And this is called Mandagar. This is called Mandagar. This is very important and this is also important. Okay. And also the dance form they have done is Chengu dance. They used to do Chengu dance. And you know, the rest is primitive, that is particularly vulnerable tribal groups, they use that is their low in literacy, the same occupation and economy. They used to depend mostly on shifting cultivation, hunting and gathering, subsistence agriculture, and they are mostly labor ki velle vallu annattu. They used to go for daily wages. This is about that. And one more article is National Food Security Act. Why it is in news? Let's see. This is basically news because the Union government has proposed an amendment to the National Food Security Act of 2013 and changing the method of food grain allocation under Antyodaya Anna Yojana. Let's see what is NFSA and what is the amendments. Let's see. First, talking about National Food Security Act 2013, it was enacted with objective of providing food and nutritional security by enhancing access of adequate quantity of quality food at very affordable prices to the people. And that too for the poorest of the poor. Okay, ikkada rendu programs untai. One is Antyodaya Anna Yojana, which is where poorest of poor receives 35 kgs of overall food grains for a house. And one more thing is priority households, where for each household rice will be coming for 3 rupees per kg, wheat 2 rupees per kg, and coarse grains, everything pulses untayo, that is coming for 1 rupee per kg. So all the grains whatever are there per kg, you will be available in 5 rupees per kg. Clear? Now see, remember, every household is getting 35 kgs. Now, what is the government telling is that per household will not be 35. Let's consider whoever are there in the house, like 4 people are there, 4 people will give 7 kgs, but the capping, the ceiling limit is 35 kgs. Clear? ఇంతకు ముందు ఎంత మంది ఉన్నా సరే మనకు 35 kgs వచ్చేది. ఇద్దరున్నా 35 kgs, ఒకరున్నా 35 kgs. Now government has come and said that, see, per person in the house will give like 7 kgs ఇవ్వడం జరుగుతుంది per person. Clear? But the ceiling limit, the maximum capacity is 35 kgs itself. Now comes Tamil Nadu and Karnataka into the picture. Tamil Nadu and Karnataka are saying that, see, our population is low because we have been controlling the population since ages compared to the northern India. Our families are very small nuclear families, okay, where if you give such, like Tamil Nadu and Karnataka will not be getting the adequate amount of food. That is what the complaint was. That is why this is in the news. The amendment and also the NFSA Act. Remember, it is done in Antyodaya Anna Yojana. Remember, what is Antyodaya Anna Yojana? So, Centre's proposed change in NFA is that Center has proposed to amend the Antyodaya Anna Yojana provision under National Food Security Act. Now they want to make 35 kg of food grains per month, regardless of the size too. Like whoever is there, they will be getting that. Now, which legal provision has been changed? The first provision to section 3 clause 1 of NFSA has been changed. They're going to amend this. But who is opposing this? The Karnataka and Tamil Nadu are opposing this. I have told you why. Clear? Now, there are two arguments. Critically examine annappudu you can see the two. One is issues with proposed agreement and arguments supporting the amendment. First thing, reduction in food security. Small families would receive substantially less food grain despite continuing economic vulnerability. But the large families should be benefited, right? Equal distribution should be there. If two members who are there in the family, they are getting 35, and also 4 members who are there in the family are also getting 35. 35 divided by 4 and 35 divided by 2. Whoever is having small family, they are getting more. Rather than the families who are having more number. First is that. That is why center is telling we'll make equality. Next, impact on nutrition. See, reduced food grain allocation could increase food insecurity and nutritional deficiencies among the poor. But if you're not able to receive substantially, that is equally, disproportionately, then what will happen? Whoever is having large family, they are getting lost. Next, this is what the major thing, regional inequality. But here what is said with the regional indifferences? See, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka are fighting because their population is less. Okay, less population will give you more food, no, right? 35 kgs by 2, 35 kgs by 4. Equal. It is enhancing equality. So the government side, they are telling that it is improving efficiency in subsidiary delivery also. So per capita allocation is simple to administer and reduce leakages in the system. This is the thing. And this is already provided in Telegram channel. Please do visit the Telegram channel and download this and do read. Now, the most important thing is, as you know, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been visited Australia and he has been done some agreement, that is PAX agreement. Let's see about India-Australia relationships first and let's see what is the PAX Act. India-Australia relations, why this is in news? Because the 3rd India-Australia annual summit was held in Melbourne, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese signed several landmark agreements to deepen the comprehensive strategic partnership. Among that, let's see first India and Australia relations. See, basically both the countries were part of British Empire and both the members are, obviously, if they are part of British Empire previously, they both comes under Commonwealth of Nations. And if you see the strategic partnership, they have been sharing democratic values since long and strong maritime interest also. That is why our comprehensive partnership was there. We have been agreed for maritime technology also, transfer of maritime technology, and also commitment to rules-based international orders, where India and Australia is part of Quad and also IORA. And also, we are cooperative between the Indo-Pacific region also. Now, if we see about the economic relations, bilateral trade stands at approximately $32.6 billion and also India has a trade deficit of $14 billion. Write the statistics first, you will get good marks. So once again, bilateral trade stands at approximately $32.6 billion and India has a trade deficit of that is $14 billion. Now, what does Australia exports to India? Australia exports coal, LNG, uranium and critical minerals to India. What is India exporting to Australia in return? Information technology, pharmaceuticals, engineering goods and also the textiles. Clear? And in defense, Both the countries are part of Quad, Malabar Naval Exercise and Indo-Pacific Maritime Cooperative Initiatives. And not only that, basically we conduct a naval exercise called OS-Index and also Ostra-Hind. These two things, army exercise is Ostra-Hind and naval exercise is OS-Index. Now, this is the most important thing. India-Australia partnership on cyber, critical technology and supply chain, that is PACS. PACS agreement. This is very important for our means. So recently, India and Australia have been agreed on partnership on cyber, critical technology and supply chains. Let's see what are the. Basically, India and Australia have been signed agreements with respect to supply chain resilience and diversification, critical technology, that is deepening upon the technologies from both the ends, which is including artificial intelligence, space technology, telecommunications, biotechnology and advanced materials. And also in supply chain resilience, both the countries will strengthen cooperation on undersea cable network security to the Quad partnership and cable connectivity and resilience. And not only that, in cyber security, there are some plans to secure the digital data, that is to establish a streamlined bilateral cyber cooperative mechanism, expand dialogues on cyber security things and establish a cyber technology skill incubator to promote the workforce development more. So we are going for cyber security issues also. In this perspective, India and Australia have been come up with the cyber security resilience. Not only that, digital resilience, that is expand cooperation in DPI, that is digital public infrastructure across the Indo-Pacific regions, and also renewable energy resources. And defense research collaboration, where it is strengthening, India and Australia is strengthening between the defense technologies also, that is Australia's defense security and technology and also with India's DRDO. So we have been collaborated. This is the thing. The PACS is regards with supply chain resilience and diversification, critical technology, cyber security, digital resilience and defense research collaboration. This is the thing. This is the PACS agreement. Clear? So this is very much important. See, India and Australia relations, like in Yesterday's Sindhu, they have been covered day before. So Indian Express, they have been covered since 3 to 4 days. You can see many articles with respect to India and Australia. Please do read them and make a note. It will be very important for your international relations. And Modi was in the 3-state visit where you can see India and Indonesia relations also in the news. Carefully, please do read them. Have a good day. Thank you.